You're listening to a BGE podcast.
Friends and family gather round and fire up the barbecue. Let the smoke waft and float, that's what we're gonna do. You can't deny there's nothing like friends and family and food. Don't sit still, pull out your grill, we're gonna have a barbecue.
Hey folks, it's fantasy football draft weekend. College ball is underway and there's a lot of things to do, a lot of food to prepare. What are you guys going to be cooking on game day?
'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.
That's right, folks. It's time for another episode of the Blind Grilling Experience. My name is Chris Peltz. I am the most interesting griller in the world. And it is fantasy football draft weekend. To be honest with you, I'm not so excited about it right now. I haven't really done the fantasy football draft kind of thing, but I love cooking. And what better time to practice what it is you're going to be serving up during game days than for the draft? And we've got a couple of things. You know, we've been talking about appetizers and finger foods and different things that you guys can do and make for, for yourselves, for your friends, family, everybody coming over to watch the game. Over the past several weeks, we've had lots of stuff that we've been talking about. And, I mean, you can go back, probably a couple of months to episodes like the buffalo chicken dip, which was it's amazing. And, granted, there's the bigger cooks like a brisket or a chuck roast or, something like that. But we've talked a lot about, in fact, we just did the episode on the pork belly burnt ends. So all kinds of things that you guys can be doing. The 7-layer, Mexican dip for chips, which is always a crowd pleaser. It's always amazing. And great. There's the shrimp on the French bread with a little Cajun twist. That's always a great thing. But I thought what we would do today is talk about, since after all, right, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Yeah, I don't do all the, all of the fantasy football kind of stuff that a lot of folks are doing, but man, whoever gets the Chiefs, whoever gets Mahomes and, all those guys, they're going to have an amazing team this year. No doubt about it. And, it's been a really cool ride with Mahomes coming in and just watching everything that they do with Travis Kelce and all of those guys. It's been really lots of fun to listen to. And so I've definitely been enjoying game days, especially when the Chiefs are playing. But, it just doesn't get any better than the food for me. And, man, there's so many things that we can cook up and so many things that we can have. And like I said, this is a great weekend to kind of practice with all of that as well. I want to get into, a couple of things that I think would be awesome and amazing. But to kind of kick it off, let's talk a little bit about pizza for just a minute. There are several little things that you can do, and I'm going to share a pizza crust recipe in the description. I'm not going to go through all of it. It is a non-yeast recipe. It is a thin crust, super thin crust pizza recipe that works amazing on the grill and great in the oven as well. Super simple to make. It doesn't require, rising. It doesn't, there's no yeast to it. It's, and so it's really cool. And it's like I said, you roll it out really thin and the recipe will make about 3 10-inch pizzas, I think. But you can always double that or, but pick the toppings and do all that you want. But it's really cool because you can do it like on the Big Green Egg. We'll fire up the egg to 450, 500 degrees, and we'll crank out pizzas, in 3 or 4 minutes. One pizza after another, and they turn out amazing. And these thin crust pizzas are really good. They're not necessarily as filling. I mean, you can load up the toppings as much as you want and do something there, which, whether you've got sausage, pepperoni, whether you're throwing together, all the veggies, you got bacon, you've got, you could do a full meat pizza, you could go veggie with it if you wanted to. You could do a combination or a supreme type pizza. I mean, this crust works great for all of it. In fact, one of my favorite pizzas that we do with this crust is a barbecue chicken pizza, which, you take and you grill some chicken up and you get that really good, nice smoky flavor, nice seasoning up on that chicken. And then for the sauce, use something like a raspberry chipotle sauce. And, you top it with your favorite cheese. Mozzarella is awesome. You could throw some onions on there if you wanted to, whether it's red onions or some sweet onions. And you could even throw in some pineapple on top of that also. But, man, it makes such a great pizza. And you can split it up, divide it. You can do different ones. You can do you can do some sweet Thai chili for your sauce to kind of change it up. Rather than always having a tomato sauce based pizza, you could do the barbecue sauce. You could use the Thai chili sauce, the sweet Thai chili sauce, which is also just amazing with some pineapple and some chicken. You could do a shrimp with that one, and slice it up really thin. Right? Cut it up into squares if you wanted to, and have that for little appetizers for folks to grab. It really turns out well. And, ultimately, if you cut it up small enough, you can feed quite a few folks, especially if they're just kind of, you got other foods that you're going to be doing. You got some finger foods that are happening. And again, you can do these in your oven. You could do several in your oven at one time. And they're amazing. They just really are so good, especially if you want to change it up from your traditional toppings and do something like a barbecue chicken pizza or the sweet Thai chili shrimp or something along those lines as well. But another thing that you can do with if you wanted to do like a pizza, actually on the Big Green Egg website. On Big Green Egg's website, you can search for Sarah's stuffed pretzel recipe. And that is my daughter's stuffed pretzel recipe. And oh, wow. You talk about good. I mean, the pretzel recipe itself is amazing. To put them and make them in the grill is amazing. Now, these are time consuming because they have to rise twice. But one thing that we will sometimes do is we'll take and make that pretzel dough, roll it out, and, let it rise, the first time, you roll it out, let it rise again, and then you put it into a cast iron skillet and use that as a pizza crust. And you've got this pretzel crusted pizza, which it also works great for the barbecue chicken pizza, but also the brisket. You could do a brisket pizza or just your traditional, pepperoni sausage, onions, mushroom, black olives, green peppers, whatever it is you want on your pizza. It works amazing for that as well. And again, it's one of our favorites. And it was so good. We did this at a cook that we did down in Georgia at the Big Green Egg headquarters several years ago. And it was good enough that they took it and they put it on their website. So, just a shout out to both them and my daughter for coming up with, making a few adjustments and making that recipe her own. And she did the stuffed pretzels, right? So not only the pizza crust that she did, but she rolled out and made like little pretzel sticks. But because they rise so big, she was able to stuff it with cheese and pepperoni. And we even did some with brisket, cheese, and some Alabama white sauce. And then she smoked them on the egg. And wow, I mean, brisket stuffed pretzels are so good. It's one of my favorites. And usually if I know Sarah's coming back to visit, I'll make plans to smoke a brisket so she can make us some brisket stuffed pretzels. And man, you talk about grabbing them and popping. I mean, you can make them as big or as small as you want. Great appetizers. You're getting that doughy pretzel topped with salt, which is amazing. And then as you bite into it, you get that soft, tender brisket with that melted cheese and a little bit of white sauce. Or you can use the white sauce for dipping, either way, or both. As far as that goes, as you can tell, we love it. We love it. We're passionate about it, no doubt about it. And then again, we got the thin crust pizza that we're going to put on our in our show notes. We'll try to leave the recipe to that. And there's also a video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and we can link to that as well in the show notes, so that you can just simply go and watch the video on YouTube for the St. Louis style pizza. I may have done 2 videos. We'll try to get the most recent, but it gives the recipe as well. And I'm telling you, that's something that folks just love, right? I mean, they love pizza. They love pretzels. Put them together and man, what a game day treat you can have. Now, if you really are into this, right, and you love firing up the smoker, you love throwing things out on the grill, and you want to get some things, ready, and you're ready to do the prep that it takes. Not only could you do, the brisket, but you could do some pulled pork and make some pulled pork or barbecue nachos. You could even use rib meat, right? If you wanted to make a couple racks of ribs and, maybe have a few ribs there, but then cut the meat off of those ribs and make a barbecue nachos, right? So you get your nacho cheese, you get your meat, you get your chips, all together. You can top it with some lettuce and tomatoes as well, and some jalapenos, and just, serve little boat type serving trays that you can pass out and let folks just enjoy their own barbecue nachos. Just little things like that, man, are absolutely phenomenal. They're just amazing, and they're great to have for folks who came to, whether it's go through the draft and picking their favorites, their favorite players and building their team, getting ready for the year, or just watching a game, whether it's college ball this weekend or, getting ready for the NFL to start up in a few weeks, and you got some friends coming over, or just take all the things, with the barbecue nachos, you could easily pack up, a brisket or pulled pork or some ribs, and grab the chips and all the fixings, everything you need to take with you over to somebody's house. And once you get there, put it all together. That's easy to do. It doesn't take much time. You get all the hard work and prep is done before all the meat is sliced or pulled. And, if anything, maybe you could just melt some cheese over at their house and go from there. And you can do it easy, right? You could get a jar of some nacho cheese and put it in the microwave and pour it over and do it that way if you didn't want to make your own little cheese dip, especially if you've gone to someone's house and don't want to dirty up their dishes and their kitchen and things like that. So those are some great options, I think. What do you guys got planned? You got anything, you guys got going on, firing up the grills? I know some folks have written in and said they're, and talked about the jalapeno poppers again. Some folks have been trying that. A few other folks said that they've done a second chuck roast because it is so good. I told you guys, if you go back and if you haven't heard that episode we did on the chuck roast, I'm telling you, it is just so good. We do it all the time. At least every other week. Sometimes we'll do one a week. We just love it. It's easy, it's simple, and it's one of the best things that we eat. It's just so good. And the weather has been awesome here in Missouri to begin with. Of course, our heart goes out to all of those who have been hit by the devastating hurricanes in Florida, Georgia, and up into the Carolinas with all the high winds and the rainfall. Thankfully, the death toll has been at, it seems, a minimum. I mean, one life is too many, but it could have been a whole lot worse if people hadn't heeded the warnings, because it made landfall as a Category 3, which is just terrible. And the flooding that took place, the storm surge, and then when all that water goes and rushes back out into the Gulf, it truly is catastrophic. And a lot of folks have lost everything, lost their homes. It's just all gone. And, and so this weekend, I think certainly you should be thinking about them, offering up prayers for those folks. If you're in a good situation, you got family or friends down there, invite them to make the trip up, give them a little bit of break from everything that they've been going through. Or if you're not too far away, maybe cook up some good game day foods and take down there to them while they're involved in all the cleanup, help them out and take them some food, something home cooked. And I'm sure they would be appreciative of that as well. But with all of that said, what do you guys got going on? Shoot us an email, info@blindgrilling.com. Some of the recipes that we've been talking about are on our website, blindgrilling.com. There is a recipes tab that you can go over there and check out some of the recipes that we have posted and plan to post more. We've got the 7-layer dip that is on there, which is always a crowd pleaser, especially for game day. Had some folks, in fact, that wrote in to us and said that they do a 7-layer dip as well, and I'm sure it is absolutely amazing. I love that kind of stuff. I really do, and especially with the variety of things that people do with them. I think it's really cool. I think it's awesome how folks can change it up so much, right? I mean, I can talk about a 7-layer dip and somebody else can talk about a 7-layer dip and they can be just completely different. Even with some of the same flavor profiles, just the way that they top them, the way they might mix their cream cheese, if they even use cream cheese, just all of so many differences. But it's really cool to get some of that. And you can go to our Facebook group page where you can share those types of recipes and cooks that you guys are doing, Blind Grilling Experience. Just search for that group on Facebook, Blind Grilling Experience. Of course, you can look up Blind Grilling Experience on Mastodon if you guys are on there as well, and follow us there. I'm on LinkedIn and all the socials at Blind Grilling. But we love hearing from you guys, info@blindgrilling.com. And, of course, what you guys got planned on for your cooks. We always love hearing that as well. One of the great things about a lot of the game day foods that people are often cooking or, trying to prepare is that a lot of them you can use leftovers with, right? When we talk about the pulled pork or the brisket or the ribs, I mean, those are things that can actually be leftovers. You could cook that a day or two in advance and have those as leftovers. Be a cook that you can then take and you do one of those. We did those stuffed potatoes. We talked about the baked potatoes that you can double stuff, the twice baked potatoes. and top it with that. Throw it on the smoker and let it heat up as the cheese melts, and just reuse that meat in such an amazing way that it's just hard to beat how good that type of food can be. But who are you guys rooting for this year? Again, like I said, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I've liked some other teams. My wife is a Broncos fan, and so she's always rooting for the Denver Broncos. And when it comes to having folks over, we've got a big variety of folks. We've got friends who are Dallas Cowboys fans. That are, we've got some folks who grew up in Tampa, and so they are huge Tampa Bucks fans. And I know folks that are Green Bay Packers fans, Cincinnati Bengals fans, even know a few that are San Francisco 49er fans. But for the most part, that's pretty much where I think a lot of the folks around here are at, as far as the ones that we know and we hang out with. There are a few Pittsburgh Steeler fans, but generally you'll be hard pressed to find a Cowboy fan or a Philadelphia Eagles fan around here. They're here. Like I said, I know a Cowboys fan. Oh man, and we give them a hard time. But for the most part, there are a ton of Green Bay Packer fans and of course Kansas City Chiefs. So I would say that's probably the majority of folks that are, who they're rooting for, no doubt about it. But we're going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to be paying attention to them this year. Maybe they can do a repeat in the Super Bowl. That would be awesome and amazing. And as we move forward, we're going to have some more great recipes for you guys, because I really, I'm excited about some of the things that we have planned to try, and some things that, we want to share with you guys as we move forward with some more cooks. I do want to get into we've had a lot of questions on briskets, so I want to get into briskets a little bit more detail. And along with the brisket cooks, and for example, with the brisket, let's say, because I plan on talking about briskets next week. And a lot of folks are wondering, all right, I'm going to be listening. I'm going to, I want to learn about that. I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. I highly recommend, first of all, getting a whole packer cryovac, so it's sealed up, whole brisket, 3 weeks before you plan on cooking it. I'm just going to put that out there right now. 3 weeks. Put it in your fridge. Don't open it. Leave it sealed up and put it in your fridge for 3 weeks before you do anything with it. And it can go 4 weeks without a problem. Something happens, you got to put it off another week. You can go 2 weeks. I mean, and you don't even have to let it set in your fridge for any period of time if you don't want to, or, they get a great deal and you just want to cook it, that's fine. But if you get one and you cook it right away, and you have another one that you let set for 3 weeks or 4 weeks before you open it up and then you cook it, I think you'll be able to tell a huge difference, especially in the tenderness. And so again, if you're going to be looking to do a brisket, look for them now, get them in your fridge, leave them sealed up in the cryovac, and let them set for 3 weeks before you do anything with them. I would never say to do anything like that with a pork product or with chicken. No, don't let those sit in your fridge for 3 weeks. You don't want to do that. You definitely want to cook those just as soon as you can after you get them. But yeah, when it comes to that brisket, let it wet age in your fridge for 3 weeks. You will not regret it. It'll be great. I guarantee it. And you'll love it. Yeah, absolutely. Again, the email address is info@blindgrilling.com, and you can check out our website at blindgrilling.com as well. Folks, I tell you what, I've been having some trouble with my voice. I don't know if it's all the sawdust I've been breathing in, which, you know, I know, wear mask, all that jazz. But I've been working hard out in the shop, getting some things done. And, you know, that's been a couple of week project, but we're just about done getting things rearranged and getting a few projects done. So I'm excited about that as well. I'll share that as we go for the most part, but, you know, I know we mainly talk about food and cooking, so we'll do our best to stick to that as well.
Friends and family gather round and
all right, folks, thanks again for tuning in to the Blind Grilling Experience. Love hearing from you. Info at blindgrilling.com. Make sure you look in the show notes for that pizza crust recipe as well, and a link to the YouTube video. Until next time, remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.
Barbecue, no matter the weather, under the sun or the stars. Fire is burning, the world keeps turning. Don't worry what you gotta do. 'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.